Now on Harriton Banner Television's 2014 Fall Sports Recap. An in-depth look at the Rams' 2014 football season with interviews with Patrick Stewart and Coach Meller, plus a look at some of the biggest plays of the season, as well as the most controversial call from the LM game. We will have a look at the girls' field hockey season this year, where we will find out why there were so many overtime games this year, as well as learning about the biggest game of the season. From there, we will move to Harriton's golf season, who were disqualified in their match versus Radnor. We will learn why that was and how Eric Reisner felt about being the first player at Harriton to get a national letter of intent to play golf at a Division I college. We will then move over to girls tennis, where we will learn about the incredible success the girls saw this year. We also talked to Annika Eiler about the girls' soccer season this year. The most talked about team of the fall season was boys soccer, so naturally we talked to one of their best players, Kyle Gaffney, to get the inside story on the biggest games of their season. We rounded out our interviews with Sam Ebby of the cross-country team, which had their best season they have ever had. Sam also revealed to us the intense workout regimens team members like himself go through, as well as finding out why certain players peaked at certain races, and how Sam himself was unable to perform the way he wanted to because he had been mismedicated after getting a sinus infection that affected his ability to run. Find out the other factor that hurt his ability to breathe and compete by staying tuned. And we find out who were the standout stars of Harriton's fall sports teams. The Harriton High School 2014 Fall Sports Recap starts now. Hello, I'm Ricky Sayer. You're watching Harriton Banner Television, where we are about to give you the 2014 Harriton High School Fall Sports Recap. The biggest fall sport is football, so naturally we'll start there. The Harriton football team was 1-8 this year. Here's Parth Shoka with more.
The Rams football team this year had a pretty good year. It wasn't great, but it was also a good thing. We learned a lot from the season. Although we won only one game against Pencrest, which we really deserved, we also deserved to win a couple, but because of injuries and a lot of players not there at the time, we didn't really win those. But they were winnable games, and we'll get them next year. We won against Pencrest, and that was a great game. Everybody played well. Special teams were great. Defensive backs, defensive line, linebackers, everybody did their job. Offense executed all the time, and everybody just did well and scored. Against LM, which was a lot of people were disappointed about. It's a very close game, and some of the calls were a little bit iffy by the refs, so who knows about that game, but next year we'll definitely get them. JV football this year did beat LM. Shout out to the best JV lineman, Toby Bolno, who had a great season, moved up from the bench to starting. Overall football had a great season, just got to learn from some things, and we'll be better next year. And now, here's my interview with Patrick Stewart. Okay, Pat, what was your favorite game of the season?
Well, my favorite game of the season by far was definitely the Pencrest game. We got out to a tough stretch. We were down 14-0 in the beginning of the game, but one thing our team always kept doing is we kept fighting, and we came back from 14-0 to win 32-28, and our defense had a big stop at the end to have a game-clinching win.
What were your feelings after the LM game? It was a heartbreaker.
It was a hard one because it was right after the Pencrest game, and we were on a high going after the Pencrest game, really expecting like big things out of that game. It was on a Saturday, so a lot of us we were caught like sleeping, I guess, like Saturday afternoon. It was raining. It was got credit to LM. They schemed very well, and they caught us, and they got us, and they really schemed against our passing game. We really couldn't get our offense going, and their defense played really well against us. And
what about the Radnor game? This was also a tough game.
Radnor, that was the hottest game of the year. It was really, 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 really hot. Like really hot. Like it was like in the 90s. Like at halftime, my puddles of wet in my cleats. But I really felt we could have won that game. We didn't have one of our players that game, Jack Veazey. He came a little bit later in the season. I feel like we had him, and then we had a bunch of other pieces together, and we fixed our scheme a little bit. We could have won that game. Those are 2 games I really wanted to win, LM and Radnor. These are 2 big games, 2 rivals you always want to win. Next season, I'm really excited for next season. I think we have some key pieces coming back, and I really feel we can make a stamp in the Central League, hopefully, and make a run at something and win the games that we should, and play hard against that in every game.
So, how does it feel when you throw or run for a touchdown? What's the feeling? Can you describe it for us?
It's a great feeling because it's your whole team accomplished it. It's not just you. You need your receivers to catch the ball. You need your linemen to block, and without them, there is no touchdown. There is no glory for the quarterback, because I am the quarterback. But it's not. I give a lot of credit to my line. You know, they do good against some pretty big, tough competition in the Central League, like Garnet Valley, Ridley. They got some big boys, and I credit to my receivers because they're always running hard for me and always catch the ball that I throw.
Mm-hmm. So this season was pretty big for you. You broke a record. How did it feel breaking the single season passing record?
You know, it was a big deal for me. It's a huge accomplishment. I wasn't really aiming for that in the beginning of the season, and to go out and just play every game, just play to as hard as I can. And at the end of the season, I look up and wow, I broke the Central League record. Yeah, it's a great feeling. Something I'll always remember, go down in history. That's just crazy. I never thought that would happen in the beginning of the season. It's crazy.
How do you think we will do next season?
Yeah, no, we lose a lot of big seniors like Sam Schlichting and Jordy, our captains, and then everybody else, all the seniors. Shout out to the seniors: Justin Bianchi, Eddie Bird, Reese Shepard, Slosher, Chris Clayton. You know, all those guys. You know, they're a big part of our team, but we do have a lot of key pieces coming back. We got some of our linemen. We got good running backs. We need people to step up. You know, the seniors are a big role. And as long as people step up and work hard in the offseason, I feel we can make a difference. And we're coming for LM next year, baby. We lost, but we're coming for them next year.
So during the LM game, your grandpa was like put into like the Hall of Fame. How'd that feel? Like during that game?
You know, that game, I was looking at that game the whole season. I knew he was getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. It was a big deal for me and my family. My whole family was there. It was like a Saturday afternoon. It was the LM game. I was the quarterback for Harriton. It was a big deal. It was just exciting for my whole family, especially my grandfather. He's like one of my role models. He's at every game. And, you know, it's just tough coming out of that game with a loss. But, you know, Ellen played well. But, you know, still a big day. I was still happy at the end for my grandfather because, you know, he does a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So overall, good season?
Overall, good season. You know, could have won a couple games here, a couple games there. But, you know, what happens, happens, and you move on. You do the best you can and keep working for next season.
All right, good luck, Pat, and good luck to the Harriton Ram football team.
Thank you. Thank you for
lacrosse.
Thank you.
And here's an interview we conducted with Coach Miller after the final game of the season.
But the kids played hard. You know, they played hard all year, and especially a group of seniors, man. They got total respect for those dudes, and they did a great job all year, and they kept battling. So
yeah, speaking of the season, just can you reflect on the entire season as a whole and what this means, really?
Yeah, you know, a lot of games, most games, you know, we're undermanned by numbers and size. But, you know, all we ever ask the dudes to do is have a great attitude and give great effort, and I really think that they do that. And you know, we never talk about looking at the scoreboard. You know, we always just talk about playing the plays and doing what we got to do. So I'm really proud of the dudes, and you know, our record is what our record is, but we don't really even care about that, to be honest.
And now, here is the most controversial play of the season in slow motion. Lower Marion's touchdown. Decide for yourself. Did the ball touch the ground? At the end of the LM game, Coach Miller decided that the team would do an intentional safety. He explains here in this interview we did at the end of that game. Why did you choose to do the intentional safety?
Well, the thinking was that we were up by 4, right? And they didn't really have a field goal kicker. So if we took a safety, then we'd be up by 2, but then we could kick the ball off. Instead of punting the ball from back of the end zone and having them get it basically on the 30. See, the problem went when we didn't kick the ball off far enough. So that was a problem. but it really doesn't matter because they needed a touchdown to win anyway. It didn't matter.
To watch video recaps of the football season, go to youtube.com/WikiReports. Harriton's girls field hockey team this year also had an impressive season. I interviewed Taylor Strecco to get a recap of the season. So, give us a recap of this season.
Okay, well, this season we finished with a 10-7 record. We played a lot of tough teams. That was unlike any other seasons since I've been here, so that was fun. We got a lot of experience. A lot of people got to play, most of the team actually.
Why was that?
I guess just everyone worked really hard and everyone wanted to get better, and our coach noticed that everyone could play, so everyone got to play a lot this season.
What were some of the highlights of the season?
I think our biggest win was probably towards the end of the season against Strathaven. We beat them 1-0 in overtime, so that was really intense. We had a lot of overtime games this year, so that was kind of stressful actually, but there was just great competition, so that's why almost every game went into overtime.
So is that unusual for lots of games to go into overtime?
If both teams are playing really well, which this league is really competitive, it makes sense.
Who are some standout stars this year?
This year we had a really nice play from Robin Clark. She's a junior. She was phenomenal as a forward, and she did really well on defensive corners also. She had a lot of defensive saves. Sophie Grady did really well in the mid. She's a sophomore. Laura Lesbrigada, our goalie, who just committed to George Mason for lacrosse, is really good. She plays club lacrosse and field hockey. I had a good season as a mid. Again, we had one of the best seasons since I've been here, since we made playoffs for the first time in 3 years. So that was exciting.
Tell me about what happened in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, we lost in the first round of districts pretty badly to Conestoga, but we played really well against Conestoga for most of the game during the year. So we know they were a good team, so it was okay in the end.
This year, Harriton saw a great golf team. I talked to Eric Reisner to get the scoop. Tell me about this year's golf season.
So overall it was a really good season. A little disappointing at the end with the disqualifications with Radnor, which was kind of out of our control.
Can you tell me about that?
So what happened was we arrived at the course for our match with Radnor, and we actually played a practice hole, which is like wasn't to our knowledge that it was against the rules. And Radnor got there and saw us, and they actually called us out on it, and we were forced to disqualify ourselves from the match. So we had to take the DQ.
Who are some standout stars this year?
From our team, it was a really good team effort the whole year. Like a lot of guys you wouldn't expect were like really showing up. But there's Will, who's always like really steady. Jack, Max, like all these guys really had a good year.
Now, how does it feel to be the first person in Harriton High School in Harriton history to sign a national letter of intent to play at a Division I college?
Feels really good. I'm really proud of like all my work over the last couple years to get here and everything. So
You've been a co-captain for the past 2 years, 3 years?
2 years, yeah, 2 years.
And you've been named the first team All-Central since your sophomore year. What can you draw from those experiences?
Well, being named a captain is really important because that shows like you have a lot of good leadership qualities, and like you really know how to like get other people like fired up on your team and everything. And I think that's like more important than like the individual achievements, just because like it's like obviously I know it sounds cliche, but like team really matters. And like in a sport where like in a team sport where like every sport matters so much, like you need those like lower guys to have good days a lot.
Girls tennis also had an incredible season this year. I talked to Rachel Benstock to get the story. Tell me about the season for you guys this year.
Overall, we had a really good season. We came in second in the Central League. We qualified for states, and we won our first round of states, which was very exciting. So overall, I'd say we had a very solid season.
Who are some standout stars?
I feel like our team as a whole is pretty consistent, but we had some new additions to the team that really helped us out with Alex Latta. She has never played tennis before, but made varsity and was a really big contributor in important matches.
How did it feel to be the Central League singles champion?
It was an amazing feeling. It was a huge confidence booster. It's been a long process, so it was very exciting to finally get the win.
What type of things can you attribute to the tennis team's successes this year?
I think we worked really well as a team. Even though tennis is more of an individual sport, we were all very close as a team, and we all kind of built confidence within ourselves. Even if we weren't so confident in the beginning of the season, as the season went on, we practiced and we just were getting better and better, and we just knew that it was going to be a good season.
The girls' soccer team this year went 2-9 in the Central League and 5-10 overall. I spoke with Annika Eiler to talk more about the season.
So this season we had a lot of seniors graduate last year, so it was we weren't quite sure how we were going to fill their spots, and we had a lot of new freshmen coming in. But I think we did a really good job of filling those spots, and overall we had a really successful season. Our record wasn't as good as last year, but I think we were able to stick with it, and I think the season was really great, and we were able to bond, and I think that everyone had a really great time, and we were able to stick with some of the bigger teams like Haverford and Radnor, and I think overall our record showed that, and it was a really great season for soccer.
Who are some standout stars?
Well, Maya Cohen, she's a sophomore. She made honorable mention All Central League. Our MVP for the season was Claire Coyle. She's a junior. She just committed to Wesleyan for soccer, actually. We had a really good freshman, Morgan Reese, who got injured in the first few weeks of the season, so she was out for most of it. Other than that, me, Sarah DePillis, Sammy Bigum, and Claire Coyle were the primary returners. We were the only upperclassmen, actually.
Volleyball this year went 0-9. Boys soccer this year went 11, 6-1. Here with the scoop on the soccer season is hbTV's own Jamie.
Boys soccer had a really great season this year. I actually had the chance to talk to Captain Kyle Gaffke, and he gives us a recap on the year and what he expects to see next year for the team. I'm here with senior Kyle Gaffke. Hello, Kyle.
Hello, Jamie.
So you were the captain of the boys varsity soccer at Harriton High School, correct?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your season. What were some games that really stood out to you this year?
Some big games this year? Well, there were many, you know. Probably the biggest game would be LM because past 2 years we lost. My freshman year we won, so came into high school, we won. And then I'm ending my high school season against our rivals, LM. Another big game was Radnor, definitely. Huge game when we thought we were going to lose, but we just came back with 2-goal deficit and won the game.
I heard the fans stormed the court.
Yeah,
I mean the court.
field.
The field.
The field,
Yeah, that's my bad.
But yeah, they stormed the field. And another one was Shipley. That was a big game.
So who, in your opinion, were some standout stars on your team this year?
Some standout stars would be center backs Matt Binion and Willie Marks. They definitely stepped up, especially Willie Marks after Noah and Isaac, our original starting center back, got injured. And then our midfielders would definitely be our center mids would Ethan as defensive mid, and then center attacking mid Felix. On the right, definitely Jerome, and then left.
So the whole
Nick.
team is a standout star to you?
The whole midfield really
All
helped
right.
out.
All right, that's good to know. And then who are some freshmen that Harriton should be excited about who are really on the rise?
On the rise?
On the rise
There's two rise freshmen. Surhut, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and Ethan Rogers. They're definitely going to be big soon. We'll see what happens. I know there's a couple other freshmen on JV that are going to do well, too.
They're going to step up?
Going to step up.
So one of my last questions is, what goal do you have for the Harriton boys soccer team next year when you're not here?
One goal would definitely be to score a lot because in the past we've had problems with that. I know last year and my sophomore year, not so much, but last year we definitely had a big problem with no one stepped up and scored enough goals. And next year, hopefully one of the juniors can step up, or maybe even one of the freshmen, rising sophomores.
One of the rising star freshmen?
Yeah. One of the rising star freshmen could step up and score.
Okay, and if you're around in the area, are you going to come to any of the games next year?
Definitely. I'm going to definitely come down for one of the big games.
Oh, yeah, Radnor? I mean, they have a legacy to uphold, right, to beat Radnor now?
I guess, yeah. Maybe LM. LM be bigger.
LM.
Because LM be home, so.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kyle.
Thank you, Jamie.
Cross country this year had one of the best seasons they've ever had. At Central, as the boys finished second in the entire league, girls finished fourth in the entire league, and Jonah on the boys team and Mara Henderson and Tasha Green on the girls team both qualified for states. I sat down with Sam Ebby to talk about the cross country season this year. So, tell me about the Harriton cross country season this year.
Well, for those who don't know, this was the best season in Harriton cross country history. The boys finished up with around 9 wins and 2 losses, so that's the best record in history. We finished second in the Central League, which is historical for Harriton, and myself and my good friend Jonah both made first team All-Central, so that was a huge accomplishment for Harriton.
Tell me about getting that accomplishment. What did it feel like?
I don't want to use the term expected, but based off of the training that I had been doing over the summer and throughout the early fall season, it was something that was within reach, and the only thing that could have potentially made it not within reach was allergies, but, got through that, and that was that.
You're talking about training. What is unique about training for cross country?
Well, it's interesting. It's a fine mix between speed work and endurance. Again, speaking personally, I train sort of for cross country 365 days a year. Be it the 3K indoors, the 2-mile outdoors, it's very similar training. We run, speaking in third person, myself, I run about 65 to 70 miles during the week. However, over the summer, that changes to about 75 to 85 miles, the longer term, that's building up the base. The only real difference that I would say between cross country and all the other seasons is that we focus more on threshold workouts. So instead of VO2 max stuff and much faster, shorter things, it's a little bit, I don't want to say slow, but threshold being your lactate threshold, so the fastest you can go without producing lactic acid.
Okay. As a definite prospect for states this year, what happened during your district race?
Yeah, that was a tough one. Again, I mentioned allergies earlier. Unknown to myself, well, let me start with before Central Leagues. Even at the Bulldog Invitational, which was the opening invitational of the season, it was great. I was beginning to feel some of the symptoms of what would later be diagnosed as a sinus infection. Okay, fine. Take antibiotics, it should go away. That sinus infection ended up being mismedicated. So I was dealing with a prolonged sinus infection on top of what I didn't know are severe allergies. Allergies to pollen from coming from the trees and the grass. And as the season went on, these concentrations of allergens in the air increased, resulting in more and more difficult breathing. Fortunately now that I know, I got the prick test, I am taking injections once a week. So come the spring season when the grass returns, and next fall I shouldn't be dealing with any kind of severe allergies.
So you and Jonah both represent the future for Harriton Cross Country as outgoing juniors and the top runners on the team.
Yes.
Is the future bright?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that next year we have a very, very, very solid chance at making it to regionals, advancing in the top 10 from the state. So future looks very bright. So
you think we could beat Conestoga next year?
Oh, absolutely.
This is my final running question. As a runner year-round, is cross country your favorite season?
Well, there's things that I like about all seasons. As far as cross goes as compared to the others, I mean, it's tough to say. Looking at where I am now and where I'm going, I love all three seasons. So, I mean, I love them all for different reasons. So that's, I guess they're all, my favorite.
Why do you think so many cross-country runners peaked at William Tennant over districts?
Yeah, that was an interesting race. Basically what went on there, aside from the fact that there was a chest cold going on that fortunately myself and Jonah, I was suffering with the sinus infection and allergies, didn't suffer from, but William Tennant was interesting in the idea that it was a very fast course. And I also think that the way that our training went should have allowed us to peak at districts. You see, cross is a very mental thing, and a lot of kids get psyched out at districts, and I've seen this happen before. And as far as why it goes, it just has to do with the psychology behind how much energy you're going to put into individual meets and how you're feeling and how it's going. But it's just a different course and a different mindset.
For more of that interview with Sam Eby, check out the link in the description. For more Harriton news, videos, features, sports, and more, go to hhsbanner.com. For the entire hbtv crew and everyone who helped put this report together, thanks for watching, everyone. From inside the Harriton TV studio for hbtv, I am Ricky Reports.